'cause you never know what tomorrow brings in this crazy life. Hey, this life, this life, this life.
Yo, 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 what's going on, everybody? So, it's your boy, Barber223. Here we are again. So, I'm actually going to be uploading twice today because, well, one, I'm uploading some gameplay from my Magic Warden, but that's not the reason I'm uploading again. So, some new patch notes just dropped, guys, and honestly, like, this is very, very important. So, the patch notes, as you guys know, recently procs have quote unquote not really got a nerf. They just changed procs to like basically like now they were supposed to scale off of your max stat. So I think I've released it in another video. It basically scales off of your max spell damage, max magic, depending on what type of proc it is, right? So for example, Crimson would scale on your max health, and let's see, Unleashed would scale on your weapon damage or max stam, so things would be relevant to what they have. Now the problem with this is that these damage sets would be insane if you built in that tooltip. There was a point where I saw a Crimson tooltip be a 20,000+ damage tick. I saw someone be able to do like 50k combo with their procs in one hit. So basically, Zoss are testing, and they have made some more changes that I think are a good thing. So here we are. So I'm going to just go over them real quick and tell you what I think this means for the game. It's basically, it changed a lot of stuff. So I'm just going to get into it here. So basically, here's where we start here, right? So they changed this. Oh, and as always, guys, make sure you like, comment, subscribe. We're almost at 500 subs, so let's keep it going. So, anyways, so let's just get into it. So basically, what they're doing here is, so it says, sets that use weapon or spell damage now require 6,574 of either in order to reach their original values. So basically what this means, original values is what the tooltip says. So if it's under this, you will not have that tooltip. And they raised this up from 5478, so basically 1100 extra, pretty much, resulting in a 17% damage reduction. So basically what they're saying is you need 17%, it's like 17% less damage compared to what it was before. So that's good. But the only thing that I don't like about this is they did not think of the fact that weapon damage is so much easier to stack than it is spell damage. So like that 6574 in comparison to weapon damage is a lot easier to reach in comparison to spell damage. So what I kind of think they should have done here is like figure out a scaling method to where the way that you reach spell damage is going to be a lower value because it's harder to reach that value, and then weapon damage is this 6574, because let's be honest, it's pretty much going to be a pretty hard nerf to spell damage based sets because it's harder to reach that threshold. So I think the weapon damage are, again, this is just another example of why stamina is better than magic. It's going to be a lot easier to reach that 6574 mark to get the higher tooltip. So I think they should change that a little bit just to make the spell damage a little bit, either make spell damage easier to stack up or lower the value needed to reach that value. So, but overall, I think it's a good change. So like, I'm not going to complain. I think it's very good. They did this along with individual sets. They're nerfing individual sets too. I'll get into that in a second here, but like this is just overall they nerfed it. So that's a good change. I like that. So anyways, next. So sets that use magic or stam now require, we'll say 40k in order 39,901 in order to reach their original values, up from 38,350. So basically a 1600 increase. And it only results in a 4% reduction, so I assume they didn't see much of an issue with this quite as much, so they just changed it a little bit, nerfed it a little bit. So yeah, and but on the other hand, I do think magic is a bit easier to stack a bunch of than it is stam, so that's a good thing, I guess, for magic. I think it's a little bit easier to get a higher magic pool than it is a stamina pool, that's just my opinion. So that's what I've noticed myself. So yeah, that's what they did with that. Now this is the big one here. Sets that use health, they now require 43,968 to reach the original value, up from 38,350, resulting in a 13% reduction. Now, you have to get 5,600 more health. That's a lot to reach these values. That first of all, that counts as crimson, so the main, that's Crimson is the main proc, as you guys probably know. So yeah, very good change here. Like, this is a great change in my opinion because it made it much harder to reach that value, and you're going to have to substitute even more resources for health to reach that value, and it results in a 13% reduction. So very good change as well. When you stack this with the individual change with a set, it's going to be very good. So lastly, sets that use physical or spell resistance now require 30,680 up from 27,890, resulting in essentially a 9% reduction. So very, very good. And honestly, like, this health one is going to be great, and so is this one, because stamina builds had an easier way to reach their weapon damage, at least a little bit harder. And now with sets that use health, so it's pretty much like a Crimson folk. It's like, I feel like it's targeting Crimson, which is a good thing in my opinion. Having to stack even more health to reach that original tooltip is going to make it even harder for people to stack up proc damage. So I'm glad. And they just fixed some bugs that were about with the weapons. So let's get into individual things here. So this set, Merciless Charge. As you guys know, Merciless Charge is pretty much a spammable when you get this version of it. I believe it drops in the Maelstrom Arena. But anyways, people would use this as a spam, and it would deal crazy dot damage. I think it was like 15k over 6 seconds or something, some crazy dot, and people would just spam this along with their other procs and do so much dot damage to you. So they reduced the damage by 33%, so it's literally going to do a third less. Very nice. Very nice. So that's a good change, I think, because this set was kind of overpowered as it was. So good change. Song of the May now scales off of max health rather than weapon or spell damage. And they're changing some overland sets here. So Frostbite is one of the new ones, I believe. So it increases your damage done with frost abilities up to 8% from 6 to help this set offer more of a bite. Haha, so original. Okay, you guys are corny, but not the point. Pretty much a 2% damage increase, so pretty cool. So anyways, here is the one, guys. Dungeon and Arena sets, Crimson Twilight. Reduce the damage done by this set by 44%. 44%. Like, it's literally almost going to do half as much damage as it did. And on top of that, it's going to stack with this. So you're going to you're going to have to add that 44% to this if you don't reach that higher threshold. So guys, Crimson's going to be doing upwards of 50% less damage. Less damage. This was the most needed nerf ever. This nerf is so needed. Like, they made, I'm so glad Zoss had noticed our complaints. Like, and I know, like, procs are what they are, and I don't want procs to be gone. I don't want them to be, like, literally useless. I just want them to be on an equal playing field as every other set in the game. So I think this is really going to help that. So, like, honestly, I have nothing to complain about. Like, when you look at the perspective of ESO, like, and this is for, like, obviously Cyrodiil doesn't even have procs, but, like, for us BG boys and girls and IC players, like, this is beautiful. Because if you run into a group of people running Crimson, like, you're going to get melted. So, like, being able to reduce that damage in a fair way, like, this is going to be amazing. People, oh, it's just going to be so great. Like, it's just so much better. Like, I don't even know what else to say about it. It's just better. Period. It's a much needed change. Shoot, I'll even take a bigger nerf than 44. But, like, as somebody that runs no procs, and you guys know I take pride in not running procs. This is a very good change, and I'm so happy about this. So tell me what you guys think about it down below. I mean, you might be calling me a complainer, whatever. I don't even care. This set needs to be nerfed. I'm happy. So anyways, next set, Explosive Rebuke. So this set now applies burning to enemies hit, but deals approximately 42% less damage. So this is another good change, because this is a very powerful set as well. So it seems like they're taking into account in some of the very powerful sets and just nerfing them individually, which is very nice. So it applies burning, which is good, but it also reduces the damage by 42%, pretty much the same as this, so that's really good. And Icy Conjurer, one of the big boys that people use, Magic builds use this. So basically what this set does now, it ticks every 2 seconds instead of 1. So basically what that means is it's going to do half damage because it's really just simple math. If something does damage half the amount of time that it does before, um, I don't know how it's going to work essentially, because if the tooltip, if they're saying the coefficient remains unchanged, so I don't know, I think they mean maybe the tooltip. So basically, maybe if the tooltip, I mean, if the tooltip's going to remain the same, so let's say like, oh, I don't, well, I'll give you an example. If a set's going to do 10k over 10 seconds and it's ticking every 1 second, then what's it going to do? 1,000 a second. But if it's doing 10k over 10 seconds every 2 seconds, well, it's going to do 2,000, or yeah, it's going to do double that damage in a longer amount of time. So I mean, like, I don't know. I don't know, because it's going to either be, if the tooltip's the same, it's just going to be 1,000 a second, and then if the tooltip is the same, it's going to be 2,000 every 2 seconds. So I don't know. Um, I don't know. I mean, it might somehow do a little bit less damage. I don't know what this is going to matter, if it's going to matter. I'm not sure what they mean by coefficient remains unchanged. If that means the tooltip stays the same, then it's not going to matter too much. But at least they're making some change to try to make the game better, because Icy Conjurer is a very powerful set, and on the Magic Warden, oh, this set is nasty. So, yeah, I think it's a good change. I don't know. We'll see what happens. Depends on what they're talking about here. So, anyways, so Unleash Terror, another one of the main sets that people use. Um, it's another one of those sets that really everyone wants to use. So basically, what it's gonna do now, it's a little bit different. So it's kind of like it applies hemorrhage. So you're gonna get extra crit damage from this. So it's gonna do less damage. It's gonna do 46% less damage, which is a very good thing, right? But you're gonna get hemorrhage. And hemorrhaging, if you look it up, it does. It increases I can't even talk. I believe it increases your crit damage, but I'm gonna look it up for you guys because I want to be sure. Bleed damage deals slightly. Okay, so basically it's just a status effect. It's okay, I get it now. So it's basically like the burning effect for Stam. Um, I didn't know what hemorrhaging did. I don't. It was new. It's new in this update, and I didn't know all the new status effects yet. But yeah, hemorrhaging is basically like burning for Stam. So it's pretty much going to do a really small dot, but it's also going to do 46% less damage. So this is a very good change as well. Overall, the damage is going to be decreased. So that's really what you want to look for in a set like Unleash, because in the past, I've had Unleash hit me for like 12k. And that's on people that I have out max resistances, and I'm on a Necro that have 15% less dot damage. So yeah, this is a very good change. Unleashed and Crimson are the main ones I wanted to change, and I'm glad they are. Thank God they're changing it. We'll see if this stays, of course, but I think it's a good change. So we'll see what happens. Yeah. So the last set here is Widowmaker. I'm not even sure what this does. I've never even. Is this? I think it might be. It's one of those proc sets, I know, right? Yeah, it's just one of those sets that do poison damage. It's one of your, when your poison goes off, you do a big dot. So it lasts for 10 seconds with a 10-second cooldown. So basically, it doesn't fire as often. It's gonna do like, because if it lasts longer, it's gonna do less damage because it's spreading the damage out over a more prolonged period of time. So it's basically gonna do less damage over, like, for each tick, but it's gonna last longer. So it's a good thing as well. But yeah, Crimson and Unleash got a big nerf, and that's going to stack with the overall nerf to scaling anyways. So like, it seems like a good change. We'll see what happens, guys. I mean, like, if it does, hopefully they fix it. You know, it is what it is. But anyways, so the Monster Mass, here we go. So Scourge Harvester, this set is really powerful, but it reduces the damage dealt by 30%. And I think they did this because this set's not meant to be a damage set. It's meant to give you minor or major vitality. To give you that extra healing, but it also does do damage, and I guess they just wanted to lower the damage, so, I mean, yeah, it's good. Third Vulcan. I actually really like this set. I believe it does a big AoE, and it applies my Major Defile to whoever's in it, I believe. So this could be a really nice set, getting a little bit of a buff. So I like that. I cannot complain about it whatsoever. Seems like an interesting change. So we'll see what happens though. And here's the new mythic item. So Death Dealer's Feet. I'm not even sure what this does. I'm gonna have to check real quick. Death Dealer's Feet. It's a brand new mythic, I believe. So you get a stack every 2 seconds when you're in combat, up to 10 stacks. Each stack of escalating feet increases your resources. So basically, they've reduced it. They've reduced the amount you get from each stack, but you get more stacks. So I think overall you're going to end up being able to get more total. It's just going to be less per thing. So that's good. I mean, it's pretty cool. It just increases your max stats. Like, I mean, it's going to take longer to get, so good. But I think that's a fair change. Instead of being able to get it so quickly, they're going to make it longer, but you can get more of them. So I like that. They changed Gaze of Sithis as well. You just reduce. It's pretty much a nerf, a big nerf, actually. They did more than half nerf the resistances, which is good. But they doubled the health recovery, so I guess that's a good thing. So honestly, guys, like the only other set I really wanted to point out is these two. So Vice Cannon and Venom, they pretty much just they made it tick every 2 seconds instead of one. It keeps its damage, so it's gonna get reduced because of the new scaling system. So basically, this set got nerfed, so that's good. And another one, Vicious Death here. So they upgraded the radius by 1. I don't know how big of a difference that'll make. We'll see, but yeah, I don't know. I think it's a good change for Vicious Death. I mean, it doesn't get used very often, but I mean, on bombers, so I guess that's a good for mag blades, even though their mag blades are kind of getting shafted in this update. But overall, guys, I mostly just wanted to point out the Crimson and Unleashed change. I think it's a very good change, and honestly, like, I'm excited. I can't wait for it. I'm happy about it. So yeah, let's let me know what you think down below, and as always, make sure you like, comment, subscribe. Hopefully this goes in a good direction. But yeah, that's pretty much it, guys, and thank you, and have a good one.